Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. Financial advisors and apps ask clients to rate their risk tolerance, and they generally accept the answer and then find appropriate investments. But more appropriate for psychology today, which is where this will appear in text hopefully, is why someone's risk tolerance might be irrationally high or low. To become more rational, you might consider the extent to which those are irrationally affecting your risk tolerance. For example, your parent was very cautious and that paid off. Let's say your parent spent the minimum and every few months went to a website such as bankrate.com or nerdwallet.com and invested only in the nation's highest yielding government guaranteed CD. They always lived modestly but securely. Do you want to be that cautious? Are you overweighting their experience in your calculus? Another way you could be irrational with regard to your risk tolerance is that your parent was very cautious and suffered as a result. For example, your parents stayed in a low-paying, unrewarding but secure job, and the family lived too poorly and in retirement went broke. Are you being too influenced by that small sample? For example, if the wise one within you thinks you should become a self-employed psychotherapist, should you not let your parents' experience unduly sway you? Another way you can be irrational, another cause of irrationality regarding your risk tolerance, is that your parents took big risks and it paid off. For example, your parent risked lots of money on stocks and it paid off handsomely. Yes, the probability is that at least in the long run, investing in stocks will yield a better return than, say, buying treasury bills. But there will be volatility. For example, even if you spread the risk across many stocks, as would be the case if you bought an S&P 500 exchange-traded fund, that's an ETF, in a bad year, you could lose 10%, 20%, even more. Are you overweighting your parents' successful risk-taking? Another cause of irrational risk tolerance is that your parents took big risks and suffered as a result. For example, your parent took a big mortgage to buy rental real estate and ended up with endless headaches and they lost money. Let's say you're considering a real estate investment. Rather than overweighting your parents' experience, consider your temperament, the time you have available, and importantly, how good the investment's risk-reward ratio seems to be, consulting an expert as needed. In light of that, is there a substantial risk that you should be taking? Another cause of irrational risk tolerance is your friends sang the praises of risky investment and it paid off. For example, your friend's a stock trader and says he's making a great living. Although you know that only a tiny percentage of stock traders even break even, let alone earn more than they otherwise could, you're tempted. After all, you like adrenaline rushes, you hate your job, and you're not very concerned that stock trading does little for others. Do you want to indulge or restrain that desire for extreme risk? Be honest with yourself. Another cause of irrational risk tolerance is that your friends sang the praises of risky investment and suffered as a result. For example, your friend bought Bitcoin at $60,000 and it's now $40,000. You've surprised yourself at how much that's affected you. It's almost as if it was your own money. So you decided perhaps unconsciously to be very risk averse in your spending and investing, too much so. Another cause of irrational risk tolerance is that you're a generally anxious person and choose ultra-safe investments, such as CDs, which return very little but have very little risk and no volatility. That cause of risk aversion may be less malleable than the previously mentioned ones. Should you honor your predisposition or try to change? Another cause of irrational risk tolerance is that you're a generally calm person and see risky investments as a way to get energized. Rationally, you know that making risky investments is an awfully expensive way to get energized. Do you want to find less expensive, safer, even potentially constructive ways to get your adrenaline rush? An example might be to try to cram in as much work as you can before you need to stop. Okay, now what do you want to do? Another cause of irrational risk tolerance is that you feel under pressure from yourself or your romantic partner to try to make big money. As you know, get rich quick schemes usually end up being ways to get poorer quickly. That's because the risk of an investment is priced into it usually. For example, if a bond is yielding 10% in an era of 2% inflation, you can bet that there is a non-trivial chance you'll lose most or even all your money. Sure, you might reasonably opt for a moderate risk investment, such as an S&P 500 ETF, But think 3 times and do good homework before investing in something much riskier. And a final source of irrational risk tolerance is that you feel under pressure from yourself or your romantic partner to try to be ultra-conservative. As with the previous pressures, are you too succumbing to such influences? As usual, try to invoke the wise one within you. What should you do? These are mere examples. Of course, consider the particulars of your situation, not just your predisposition toward risk, but, for example, your time horizon. If you think you'll need a chunk of money in the next year or two, you'll probably want to put that in a low or no risk investment rather than in stocks, for example, because there aren't years for the ups and downs to even out. So, as you look at the aforementioned examples, do you want to adjust your risk tolerance? By the way, I should mention I am not a licensed financial advisor. I am a career and personal coach, and these thoughts are offered from that perspective. As they say, before making significant investment decisions, consider consulting a licensed financial advisor. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemko. I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments, and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.